guys, it's Nicu, your host, and for today's video we're gonna have this pretty amazing example. As you might saw from the trailer that I've uploaded on this channel, we're gonna have this simple homepage with a lot of items, and then we're gonna have for each of them we'll have a dedicated route. So horse, for example, yeah, ballet and fashion, maybe, yeah. And we, with the help of Framer Motion, which is a motion library for React, it's very simple and very easy to use. We will create the page transition animations between this state and this state with some additional sweeties here and there. So I'm really excited to share with you guys how I did it, and let's do it. So for this video I'm not going into details on layout and on for example how to create this custom cursor. You can watch my other videos, but we will focus only on the Framer Motion, and here we'll add some smooth scrolling to this horizontal scroll, yeah, with the Locomotive scroll. So first we're gonna go and go through the app structure, yeah. So first we're gonna see that in the components we're gonna have the custom cursor. Here it's not very hard to check it out. What's changing from other videos is that we have a project title, and this title changes depending on which image we are hovering. So we have here a small function. Let's go into the context cursor manager, yeah. So we have a small state with a title, yeah. So when we hover we set the title. Next we're gonna have the image link, and this is just our image here, yeah. And this image, all will do for now is when we click we will navigate to the corresponding route, yeah. For the model is actually this component that is similar for all of our routes, and this model will be imported into the Gatsby let me check, yeah, into the Gatsby node.js, and this is how we create dynamic pages in Gatsby. We export the function create pages, and through this function we create a route here, data slug, and data slugs is coming from the page data, which is just a JSON file, and it's an array with objects, and we have here an image, a title, some color, we'll see what we are needing for, a slug for the URL, and some images. And all of our images are static. I'm holding them into this folder, and I just structured them correspondingly here. So let's go back in the Gatsby node.js file. We iterate through each page data for this JSON, and we create a path, and then we create the page, yeah. So, and we pass the data through the context. Now we see that we import the model index.typescript file. So here, as I said, we pass the context, and this is the page context that we are getting from the Gatsby node. For this one we are getting the data about a particular page, and then it's just simple. We have a container with a cover, a model info, and some pictures. So this will be the container, and these are some pictures, and the title here big and bold. Next we have The home is pretty simple. We are just importing the image link and iterating from them and rendering. And then we have this layout. This layout is, I believe, it's imported in the Gatsby browser, Gatsby server-side rendering file. So what it does is each page will be wrapped with this layout component. So for example, if we have a cursor manager or some global state, we could use this layout component and to wrap all of our pages. And here we'll what we'll use this mostly component is to import the animated shade layout component from Framer.js. Let's look, animated layout, shade layout, yeah. So this component will be imported here, and we will have a shared state of animation between routes. So here for the pages, it's our usual home page. We have some hooks here for locomotive scroll and for a window size, and some style with some mixins. We have a grid here. Let's go and just inspect to have some kind of knowledge. So this is let me make it smaller, yeah. So this is a grid, I believe is so it's 25 columns by 25 rows, and we just somehow put all of the items into the grid. Yeah, so it's this spaghetti kind of code. And for the routes or for the model, it's again flex with some gutter between, and we just do the layout. So great, what we're gonna do first is to animate this page, and then we will see how we transition to the next router. So we're gonna focus into the home page first. So we'll make the animations when we click, and the exit animation when the components unmount. But to make the component unmount animation work, we need to use the animate presence component from the Framer motion. And this, what we're gonna do is to it will animate the components when they are removed from the rack tree. But we need to use the exit animation. So what we put into the exit animation, this will be our actual animation, yeah. So let's wrap this into animate presence. Exit before enter. Let us exit before enter. So if we set it to true, it will render one component at a time. So it will wait the components to exit, and then it will animate the other components that are rendered, newly rendered into the tree, or added into the tree. Let me open that. So going back to the image link, we're going to transform all of these elements into motion dot. Yeah. So we tell it to Framer motion that look, this is a motion element. And let's go on style each of these components. Motion has some variables to their components, and one of them is initial. So initial is so a variant, they call it variant. It's what has, or what state is the element initially. So we want it to have, so all of our images to have a grayscale of 1. Let's save, and if we go back to and refresh, yeah, so we see that all of our images has applied a filter effect. And also it has another variant, while it has a lot of them, but we need to have a while hover. So while hover will set the grayscale to 0, a scale to 1.505, and let's add a transition, default transition. So I wrote some defaults for our transition, so we will use them across the app. A is method, so is in out, and at duration of 0.5. Let's save, let's go back, and if we hover, we have this beautiful juicy animation. Let's go to this element. So initially we want to hide all of our images. So opacity 0, scale to 0, and let's add the background color to the one that we get from the context. And then when these component renders, we want to animate them. Let's hover and see. So animate, so this variant will run when this component renders. The opacity to 1, scale to 1, and transition to default transition, and a delay to transition delay. And this delay we're gonna have to create here, const transition delay, which is gonna be index divided by 10 plus a small delta. Let's save. So we have nice effect. Yeah, let's call it like this. Next, we want to, when we click it, to make all of our component move to the center, and this we will accomplish through a use effect. So this use effect will run on mount, and we need to have the coordinates of each of the images to where they will go to the center. So inside here we'll have a constant x position, which is a function, and a constant y position, and we will need to have here a internal state. So set coordinates, which is a use state, x is 0 and y is 0, and let's import the use state. And here we'll check, we have this reference, if not ref.current, we return 0, and we get the rectangle from the HTML element, get bounding client rectangle, and then we return window. So we also need to get the window sizes, and we have our hook here, custom hook. It will return the width and the height of the const window sizes. Use window size, we'll get the width and the height of the window. So window sizes dot width divided by 2 minus rect dot left minus rect dot width divided by 2, and we can copy this and paste it here and just replace it with the height with the top and with the height. Great. So now, and let's set the coordinates to x is x position and y is y position. Great. So now we have the center coordinates. We need to apply them to the exit variant of this element. So x is coordinate dot x, y is coordinate dot y, and we add a transition to be default transition, and the delay again a transition delay. Let's see what we got here. So we click and all of our images are coming to the center. Great. Next, what we're gonna do is to make the one of the images that we click the MVP of all of them. So one for example, we click on fashion, we want it to remain only this fashion visible. So we'll add a z index to it, and also we'll make other images opacity 0. And for this we will need I have a manager here. This shared layout will be used in our layout index. So shared layout data. This context will be shared through between routes, because we here will store our width and height and the coordinates of the center position to that specific images. So when we go to the next route, we know exactly when and how the images will look. Also, we have which current images was clicked. So this is a slug. Yeah, so it's simple, has some states and provides our components with a context. So in our image link, we go and import the use context. Context, share layout data context, and set current and current. We get the value and the function to set that value. So when one is handle on click, let's move this use effect up like this. Yeah. So when we click on an image, we set the set current to be the slug, and here when we want to exit, we set the components z index to current. If it's slug, we set it to be 100, otherwise is 0. And for the opacity here, yes, exit variant, so we say that opacity is current slug is 1, otherwise is 0, and let's add a transition. So default transition, the delay of 3. And let's see what we got so far. I think we gotta apply something to the image as well. Yeah, so the image doesn't go opacity. Let's copy this and add it to the image. So when we exit, we add 1 transition. We just set it to default transition. Yeah, cool. Let me show it one more time. So we see this nice effect, eye-catchy effect, yeah? So what we're left to do with this page is to stock somewhere the center coordinates and dimension of the clicked images, so we could use it on the next route. And as I said, we have the manager, we already have the state here that we're gonna set, the width, height, and the coordinates. You can refactor it and do it however you want, but this is pretty what we need. So set value, and we will set the value here. So we need the rectangle again, get bounding client rectangle, and we will set value, an object, and x is gonna be window sizes dot width divided by 2 minus rect width divided by 2. Let's copy for y, so it's height. Let's change it to height. We have the width, which is rect.width, and we have the height, which is rect.height. Here is we have us height. Yeah. So let's go and open our React. So we have shared layout. For now is nothing. Let's check. We see that it's horse and there are some values. Let's refresh. So we're gonna start with the model. So the cover here, we'll focus this part on it. So we will let me see, we'll transform these elements again into motion framer motion elements, and we will import, or we'll get the context value from use context shared layout data context. So as you remember the layout, so the coordinates we saved, and we'll get from here the x, the y, the width, and the height. So let me see, I think we have some CSS that we have to get rid of. Model cover, yeah. So we need to go to the style and remove this. And now we need to set the initial to be with oh, height and transform translate x pixels, y pixels, and then we need to animate the image to transform, translate 0 pixels, and a width of 45 viewport width and a height of 100%. Yeah, and the transition, overall transition, to be default transition. Things. Oh, don't remember this. Variance initial is scale 1. Animate to scale .1. Transition is transition. The delay. Oh yeah. So let's just comment all of these. And let's use, for example, the horse. We'll see what it's doing. So yeah, great. So you see that we now are going to, we're on the horse route. So we will uncomment these. Let's just uncomment the model info, and into the model picture we'll use, let's use the variant. So const variant is variant, and it's an object. So we have the initial, we have the animate, and we have the exit. So when initially it is, we have an opacity 0, transition, and this transition, const transition, is duration 2, and a ease of default is, and we'll pass it here, and it will have a position absolute. Yeah. When we animate, we want it to animate to opacity 1, position initially, and the transition duration of 1 second, and we want to delay with about 3.5 seconds until that animation or the covers animation fits. So 3.5. And for the exit we have opacity 0 and transition. Here variants, and we want to say that initial is initial. Oh, this is a motion as well. Initial. So we gotta say that initial goes to this key, to this key. We can name them as we want. So animate is animate, and exit is exit. I mean, this way the code looks a little bit cleaner, and you can share, for example, variants between components as well. So let's yeah, you saw that the exit animation works. Let's go into the horses. The image goes to the center. Yeah, we have this animation. And then So we need to add here a small style. Display text. Before we go into the locomotive scroll, yeah. Go one more time. I go to the ballot. Cool. Let's add the title model info. And for the model info, we're gonna update this to a motion word. Motion. And again, we're gonna have 3 variants. So opacity 0, animate, opacity 1, transition is default is, delay 3.5 and duration 1. And for the exit, we're gonna have opacity 0. The info. Yeah. So let's go to the home. Yeah. We have the fashion title there. And we have elements. Cool. We'll want to add one more thing to the whole container. So back into our model index, we'll transform this to a motion div. Motion. And we'll say that import motion, animate this for padding to viewport width, transition for is default is, delay 3 seconds and duration of 0.5, and for the exit we'll make the whole container exit, we'll make the whole container opacity to 0. Let's refresh one more time so we have this one. Yeah, cool. Beautiful. So what we are remaining to do is to add here a smooth scroll with some parallax to the text. So what we're gonna do next, we'll add a locomotive scroll to this model component to spice it up, to make it more interactive. And smooth scrolling will have here some parallax to the title. So let's go. I have a hook called use locomotive scroll. It's a function. It gets a ref object. We initiate a new object of locomotive scroll. We pass the reference. We say that look, this is directional. You can make it more generic by passing the direction. And then when the component unmounts, we destroy the locomotive scroll. So back to our model, we will create two things. One is we need a reference, so const use ref from React, which is an HTML div element or null, and default is a null, and we assign it to the main element, so to the parent element. Ref is a ref, and then we import the use locomotive scroll, and we pass that ref, and here we're gonna get the locomotive scroll. Let's now make this, let's remove this inline style, and let's make this one data scroll container. So if we come back, we should have some sort of broken scroll, and that's because the locomotive scroll doesn't know the actual width. So we have to update the locomotive scroll when all of the items are rendered, and this we can do. Let's go back to the model, and this container has a function called animation complete, and when this one completes, we're gonna load locomotive, and for this we're gonna need a state, a local state, so const locomotive start, set locomotive, use state false. Let's just pass it inline here, so set locomotive to true, and when this sets to true, we need to update the locomotives, and we will do this in a use effect. Locomotive scroll start, yeah, and if locomotive start, we will do locomotive scroll parent dot update as a function. Let's see if this will work. Should work. Refresh, and yeah, working. Refresh one more time. Amazing. So we have now a horizontal smooth scroll. One thing left to do is to go to the model info here and add some attributes to the title. So this one is gonna be a data scroll, and the data scroll speed equals to -1. Let's refresh. Yeah, so you can see that the title kind of has a slight parallax effect here. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, we built a web page using Framer Motion in Gatsby with React and Locomotive Scroll. It's very simple. We have page route transitions. We generate dynamic pages through Gatsby, and we have a stylish animations to the components. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for being a subscriber, or if you are not subscribed, please subscribe, and see you to the next one. Happy holidays.